Hello, scholars, and welcome to the practice for the geometry semester exam. This is part 1. We're going to go over the first 10 questions, then you're going to practice a little bit. So let's jump into number 1. It says, identify the highlighted part of circle O or P shown below, and it's highlighting this angle right here formed by these two lines, this angle. The vertex is in the center, therefore it is the central angle. Central angles have their vertex at the center of the circle. And let's look at number 2. Solve for x, round to the nearest tenth of a degree if necessary. So we're looking for the angle right here. And since this is a right triangle, we're going to use SOHCAHTOA. So you can go ahead and write SOHCAHTOA. And we're going to go ahead and label, since this is the angle we're looking at right here, we're going to label hypotenuse, adjacent, and opposite. And it's giving us adjacent and opposite, right? It's giving us these two numbers right here. So therefore, we're going to use tangent. So let's write down a tangent of our angle is equal to O over A. And we're going to fill in, right? So our x, our angle is still x, but our opposite is 6.7. Our adjacent is 4.9. And since I need to find what x is, I'm going to flip it. So I'm going to write tangent, inverse tangent, sorry. And I'm going to switch places. So the 6.7 over 4.9 goes in the place of the x. And the x goes on the other side there. Then I'm going to use my calculator. Let's bring up my calculator here. And I'm going to use inverse tangent, 6.7 divided by 4.9, hit equals, and I get that x is equal to, this is the nearest tenth of a degree, so it's going to be 53.8. So let me know if you forgot how to use the calculator on that one, but it's pretty much just the inverse tangent key. You're going to type in those numbers, hit enter, and you get your angle. All right, so let's look at number 3. So solve for x. So this is the exact same thing as number 2. Let's go a little faster. So SOHCAHTOA, hypotenuse, opposite, adjacent. It's giving us opposite and hypotenuse, so we're going to use sine. Let's see, I didn't underline right here, but right, how we know what we're using is we label our H, O, and A, and then whatever it's giving us, that's how we know which one to use, sine, cosine, or tangent. So for number 3, it's giving us O and H, so we're going to use sine. So we're going to write sine of x is equal to O over H. And then sine of x is equal to 8.4 over 9.5. Then we're going to switch it. That's why we're using the inverse, is because to find our angle, we have to use the inverse. We have to kind of switch places. So sine -1. And that means we're going to put 8.4 over 9.5 where x was, and we're going to put x where that ratio was, and I can just put this in the calculator. So inverse sine, 8.4 divided by 9.5, hit equals, and I get 62 points as nearest tenth of a degree. So it's 0.15. That 5 means we go up to 0.2. All right, I'm going to move on to number 4. Then you can always pause, and if I'm going too fast, or come and ask me. All right, so for number 4, since this is actually an inscribed angle, now notice the central angle, like I said, the vertex was at the center here. Vertex is at the center. This vertex is along the edge or along the outside of the circle, so it's inscribed. So we're going to use inscribed is equal to half our arc. Whenever we see an inscribed angle, just write that formula, that inscribed is equal to half our arc. So our inscribed angle, that's what we're trying to find. So we're going to put x, and then it says our arc is 112 degrees. So we're going to write 1/2 and put in 112 for our arc. We know it's the arc because of this little swoop symbol, and we know the angle has that angle symbol. That's how we know where to put the numbers or the variable. And so 1/2 of 112 is just 56. All right, I'm going to go on to number 5. There we go. I'm sorry. All right, number 5. All right, so to identify the highlighted part of circle O or P shown below, since this is the line segment that is going through the center of the circle, going from edge to edge through the center, that is our diameter. So number 5 is B, diameter. All right, number 6. Given the circle below with chords CD and EF, find the length of DG, which is right here, round to nearest tenth. So we're going to take the parts of the chord. So let's look at this chord first, this chord from E to F right here. We're going to take each part of that and multiply it. So 21 times 10. That's going to be equal to our other chord that we're, again, multiplying. So 15 times X. 21 times 10 is just 210. 15 times X is just 15X. And we divide both sides by 15 to solve for X. So 210 divided by 15 is equal to 14. All right, number 7. So another inscribed angle. So we're going to use inscribed is equal to half our arc. And let's see, do we know our inscribed angle? Yes, it's 33 degrees. Do we know our arc? No, that's what we're trying to find. So we're going to put half X, X being the arc that we're trying to look for. And now if I have half X, there's a couple different ways I can do this. I can divide by 1/2, or I can just multiply by 2. It's the same thing. So I'm just going to multiply by 2 because that gets rid of that 1/2. I'm left with X over here, and 2 times 33 is 66. So our answer is 66 degrees. All right, for number 8, identify the highlighted part of circle O shown below. This part of the circle here is going from edge to edge, but it's not going to the center. So that is our chord. Letter D, that is a chord. All right, and number 9. Identify the highlighted parts. Again, there's another angle. This time the vertex is on the edge here. So that is an inscribed angle. And then finally, number 10 is a probability question. Francisco owns a small business selling ice cream. He knows that in the last week, 66 customers paid cash, 7 customers used a debit card, and 56 customers used a credit card. Based on these results, express a probability that the next customer will pay with a credit card at the decimal to the nearest hundredth. So let's look at who paid with a credit card. So cash, debit card. So here's 56. I'm recording now, sorry. All right, 56 customers used a credit card. And so I'm going to put 56 on top. And then how many total customers were there? So we're going to add 66 plus 7 plus 56 equals 129. And I'm going to express this as a decimal, so I'm just going to go ahead and divide. 56 divided by 129 equals. So I get 0 points, and then to the nearest hundredth is going to be 0.43. right? The third number is a 4, so I stay down at 43. I don't go up to 44. Honestly, you guys, the exam is multiple choice. It is on Canvas. It is not on Delta Math, even though these are Delta Math questions. Since they're on Canvas, yeah, they're just on Canvas. So therefore, I made it multiple choice, just like the other classes. And so you won't hopefully get confused by the rounding. As long as you know how to do it, you should be fine. So we're going to stop here. This was part 1. You're going to go ahead and do the digital practice for part 1, and then I'll see you for part 2.